Am I the a-hole for walking out of the airport when I saw my husband's mom standing there with her luggage? I, F30, don't have the best relationship with my husband's mom. Since day one, she's made remarks and compared me to her. Then she tried to get on my good side by overly praising everything I did, and sometimes even copying me. Like the time she literally dyed her hair purple just like mine. When everyone pointed out how ridiculous she looked, she actually blamed me and accused me of trying to make a joke out of her. Anyway, my husband and I took 2 weeks off work to visit some places out of the country. Tourism, basically. I was the one who saved up and arranged the trip. My husband was only responsible for booking the tickets. His mom wanted to come with us and threw full-on temper tantrums when I said no. She called, texted, sent people to talk to me, and even threatened to call the police and make up a complaint so we wouldn't be allowed to travel if she couldn't come. My husband said we should just take her. I told him he was wrong to even tell her about the trip in the first place. He gave me an ultimatum. He said he wouldn't go if she couldn't come. I told him I'd gladly call his bluff, which made him backpedal. He said, "Fine, I'll tell her to stop." We're not taking her. Things got quieter. Suspiciously quieter. The day of the trip arrived. We got to the airport at 2 p.m. My husband was walking ahead of me, looking left and right like he was searching for someone. I asked him about it, but he didn't respond. He led me to the waiting area, and the first thing I saw was his mom standing there with her luggage. I froze. A cold wave washed over me. I was fuming inside. She and my husband were hugging when I quietly turned around and started walking toward the exit. My husband followed me, shouting for me to stop. He tried to grab my arm, but I told him off in the harshest way possible. He said I was overreacting and that since his mom was already here, I should just let it go and not mess up the trip for us. I told him he and his mom could still go. I was going home. I went home and sobbed into my dog's fur for several minutes. Turns out he had booked her a ticket without telling me. An hour later, he came home, yelling about how pathetic and spiteful I was for walking out and ruining the trip last minute. I told him he caused this. He said I was being so hard on his mom. It's ridiculous. I refused to fight anymore, but he kept berating me, then called my family to tell them the trip was canceled because of me. My family said I shouldn't have ruined it for myself and should have just sucked it up and tried to enjoy the trip. Did I really overreact? Update, I don't know where to begin. It's been an absolute nightmare, and I feel like I've been losing my sanity. For more context, my husband's mom has always favored him over all his siblings. This affected his relationship with them and with me. He has never seen an issue with how differently she treats him. It has always made me uncomfortable. Going low contact has never even been an option. He has to see her or call her every day. Most of his siblings don't talk to him, and I 100% believe it's because of his mom's favoritism. He does bear some blame for never acknowledging how wrong the dynamic is. In many moments, I found myself making excuses for his behavior, even in my original post. I did it automatically, and I don't know why. I guess it's because I love him, and I've wanted so badly to work through things without letting them damage our marriage. About the trip. He tried talking to me after, but everything he said came from a place of blame. Blame toward me. I told him I needed space and that I'd be staying with my sister for a while. He didn't take it well. He literally got off the couch, opened the door, and told me to go right then. In that moment, watching him still refuse to acknowledge what he'd done, everything became crystal clear. I pictured years and years of my life being lived like this, and I realized, no, I can't do it. I can't live like this, especially when he always needs to be right. His mom can do no wrong. I'm always the aggressive, crazy, jealous, pathetic overreactor. All the comments, opinions, and advice I received were like a spark, a wake-up call I desperately needed. I wish it hadn't come to this, but what's done is done. Right now, I'm staying with my sister. I brought my dog with me. My husband sent me one last message accusing me of choosing to end our relationship. But I believe it's the opposite. He chose this. He chose to prioritize his mom over our marriage again and again. Now I finally have the space to decide what's best for me and my future, even if the answer ends up being separation or divorce. So I, 33F, have been married to Tim, 34M, for 5 years. He's incredibly family-oriented, which normally is sweet. Keyword normally. His mom, Laura, 60s. His sister, Emma, 21. Emma's boyfriend, Chris, 21. And Laura's husband, Jack, 60s. all lived together in Laura's home until a gas leak turned their house into a carbon monoxide chamber. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but the house needed major repairs. We were told they'd be displaced for a while. Here's where it gets fun. Tim unilaterally decided to invite them to live with us. Not ask me, not discuss it. Just told me they were coming. 24 hours before they showed up with suitcases and coolers of food like it was a summer camping trip. This wasn't a, can we host them for a few days situation. This was, they'll stay until the house is fixed, which I later learned could take months. I was livid. And before anyone calls me heartless, no. I grew up with 3 older siblings, 2 brothers and a sister. I'm the youngest, and I understand the importance of family. I would give my family the shirt off my back, but I also believe in boundaries. Especially when I wasn't consulted in my own damn house. Now for context, Emma is the miracle baby, born after Laura had long given up hope of another child. She's the golden child, and Laura dotes on her like a Victorian-era heir. Tim, who's the second oldest, has spent most of his life playing peacemaker and trying to earn his mother's affection, especially since Laura and Tim's dad divorced when he was 10. His dad and stepmom? Absolute angels. Respectful, kind, never overstep. Can't say the same about Laura and Jack. Emma and Chris are both full-time students with 0 job prospects. Chris spends all day in our media room playing FPS games and vaping stress away, while Emma uses our guest room as her personal content studio. She's an aspiring lifestyle influencer with less than 500 followers and a ring light addiction. Jack just sits in our sunroom reading and pretending the rest of the world doesn't exist. And Laura? She's been reorganizing my spice rack, commenting on my wardrobe, and calling my dog hers. I finally snapped after week 2 today, when Laura told me that maybe I should put more effort into my appearance, since I work from home and have no excuse. I run a consulting firm from my home office. She thinks I play on spreadsheets. I told Tim we needed to talk, and he actually had the nerve to say, "Babe, don't start." Their family, they needed us. I lost it. I told him they're his family, not his responsibility. That he crossed a huge line inviting 4 adults into our home without my input. That I felt disrespected, bulldozed, and treated like an afterthought in my own marriage. I told him I've been a good wife, a good host, and a better daughter-in-law than his family deserves. But I'm not a doormat. He accused me of being cold and said I didn't understand what it's like to come from a broken home. I reminded him that he married someone from a healthy home, where people ask before they impose and boundaries are respected. Just because Laura emotionally manipulated him for decades doesn't mean I'm going to let her run my house like it's her second chance at suburban royalty. Now he's sulking. Laura's been making martyr comments about not being wanted. Emma passive-aggressively posted a TikTok about people who don't support your dreams, and I'm the villain in my own home. I love my husband, but I feel like I'm being punished for having a backbone. Update. Thank you to everyone who commented, especially those who pointed out how suspicious this gas leak situation was. Y'all gave me the clarity and pettiness I needed, so I did a little digging. And I went full detective mode. I told Tim I was going to visit my niece, which I do regularly, so it didn't raise flags. Instead, I made 3 stops. Stop 1, the gas company. I called and asked about the supposed gas leak at Laura's address. They had no record of any emergency call, appointment, or report from that property. Nada. They didn't even know the names. Stop 2, the landlord. I called Laura's landlord, their house is a rental, to ask if they'd been notified about any gas-related issues. He was confused. Told me point blank that no one had contacted him about a gas leak, and if there had been one, it would have been reported and handled ASAP. He'd just done a routine inspection a week before they fled to our house and found nothing wrong. Stop 3, their actual house. Yep, I drove over there. No warning signs, no work vehicles, nothing indicating any repairs were happening. I even Googled what to look for after a carbon monoxide emergency. There were no do not enter notices, no equipment, no new detectors installed, nothing. The neighbors that were out front, and I asked them about it and they had casually confirmed they hadn't seen any crews or heard about any leak either. I was fuming. Now, I knew Emma's boyfriend Chris is as sharp as a wet paper towel and has the worst poker face known to man. So I got him alone while everyone else was at the beach, again, and calmly said, "You're not in trouble. But I need you to tell me the truth about why you're really here. Because I spoke to the gas company. And the landlord, This boy snitched so fast I didn't even have to ask twice. Turns out the entire gas leak story was a lie, cooked up by Laura and Emma. They knew Tim would panic if he thought something had happened to them, and that if they said emergency, he'd roll out the red carpet. The real reason they wanted to stay with us? We live 10 minutes from the beach, the same beach that they've been conveniently going for walks there almost every day. They didn't want to pay for a hotel or an Airbnb, and like I said, they knew he'd do it because he's always trying to be the hero, especially when it comes to his mom. When I confronted Tim, I didn't yell. I just calmly laid it all out, what I'd found, what I'd confirmed, and what Chris confessed. And I saw the exact moment it hit him. His own mother and sister manipulated him using a fake emergency just to score a free beach vacation. He was shattered. Then angry. Then disgusted. He didn't even hesitate. He told them all to pack their stuff and leave that exact second. Laura cried as she was trying to guilt-trip him. It didn't work, obviously. Emma screamed. Jack shrugged and asked for a ride. And Chris apologized 3 separate times on his way out the door. Now it's just me and Tim again. The silence in the house is unreal. But to his credit, Tim finally got it. We had a long conversation about boundaries, family enmeshment, and manipulation. He admitted this was a wake-up call and that he's tired of being the fixer who gets used. We're now looking into couples counseling, not because I'm leaving him, but because this broke a piece of my trust and we both want to rebuild it the right way. For once, I feel like Tim finally sees things for what they are. Thanks again, Reddit. I owe you one.
Am I the a-hole for despising my mentally handicapped sister? The title makes me sound horrible, but hear me out. My sister is severely autistic. She requires attention almost 24/7 and cannot be left alone. She is nonverbal and cannot take care of herself at all. Despite being only 12, she is extremely destructive and violent, and she destroys anything she gets her hands on. I hate her. I know I shouldn't say that, but it doesn't feel wrong. I was only 6 years old when she was born, and since then I've never had my parents' full attention. From the moment I can remember, the world has revolved around her. I was moved out of my room and into the basement at 7 because she needed to be closer to my parents. All of my toys as a child were destroyed by her, and when I complained, my parents ignored me. Even when I was 14 and she destroyed the MacBook my school gave me, I was somehow in the wrong. On top of that, I'm expected to take care of her and drop everything for her. I can never make plans with friends because my parents expect me to be available in case they need me to take care of her. Even when I do manage to get time for myself, I'm required to leave if they call. If I don't, I'm punished. The most recent example is when I went to see the new Spider-Man movie and got grounded because I turned my phone off in the theater. It feels like I'm nothing more than a slave, and anything involving her always overshadows me. Last week I was chosen to give a speech at a school event. I was so excited, and my parents promised they'd be there, but they never showed up and claimed it was because of my sister. Anytime something happens for me, they're too busy with her. I've been holding this in for so long, and it finally exploded today. While talking about colleges with my dad, he joked that I should get a degree that pays well so I can take care of my sister when they're gone. I don't know why, but that comment broke me. I cried and screamed about how it's always about her, that I'm nothing more than a caretaker to them, that they always make everything about her, and that I'm expected to be her slave for the rest of my life. I locked myself in my room afterward, and my parents haven't checked on me at all. Am I the hole here? Update 1 Wow. Thank you for all the support and love you've given me. I never expected this post to reach so many people. Thank you. After thinking about it, many of you are right. I don't despise my sister. It's not her fault she was born the way she is. My parents eventually came to talk to me after my breakdown, but I couldn't bring myself to respond. I just cried and asked them to leave. They made arrangements with my grandfather for me to stay with him for the time being, and I'm getting ready to go to his house. My parents want to talk, but we've agreed it's best if I leave for now to have space and time to collect myself. We will sit down and talk later this week. Thank you again for the love and support. I'll send an update later this week if people are interested. Update 2. I'm back like I said I would be. My original post got a lot of attention, so here's the update. Since that day, I've been staying with my grandfather. The week has been a huge change, both good and bad, but here's the rundown. I told my grandpa everything, and to be honest, he looked horrified. No one in my family knew my parents were essentially using me as free childcare for my sister. Grandpa told me things I'm not comfortable repeating, but basically my sister is supposed to be receiving care from a professional, and my parents have been ignoring that. He also said I wasn't supposed to be caring for her at all, given her mental state, because she's a danger to herself and others. When I told him about everything else, including the movie incident, he was furious. He told me not to contact my parents without him present. He said he would meet with them beforehand and also be there when I finally sat down to talk with them. It didn't end there. The rest of the week, other family members checked on me and told me things my parents had hidden. One major thing? My parents had been taking money from family members to pay for a caretaker who doesn't exist. Suffice to say, this week has been rough, but there's a bright side. My extended family has shown me more love than I've felt in a long time. My grandfather has spent the week making up for lost time, encouraging me to spend time with friends and do things I enjoy. My aunts and uncles have also been helping me through everything. Saturday night, I sat down with my parents. It went badly. They came clean about everything, including things I won't repeat, but they did not apologize. They still insisted that I somehow owed my sister my time. My father even said, "You were put here to be her caretaker." I won't pretend I stayed calm. After everything I learned, I confronted them. About the caretaker my sister needs, about the money my dad was taking, and more. They denied everything or made excuses. We ended the night in an even worse place than before. After talking with my grandfather and uncle, I've decided I'm not going back. Today I'm picking up my things and moving in with my grandpa permanently. When I graduate high school, I plan on leaving the state for college. My aunt has told me that the money she had been sending my dad will go directly to me from now on. My parents have called me twice since Saturday, both times just to ask when I'm coming home. No apologies, I'm not going back. Right now, I still feel uneasy, but I think that will pass. The rest of my family is supporting me, and honestly, it feels amazing. In the end, I haven't lost my sister. I realize now that I don't hate her. I love her with all my heart. I never should have projected my anger onto her. That was wrong, and someday I hope I can make up for it. But for now, I need to leave. Thank you to everyone who supported me. I appreciate every single one of you. Update 3. We just got back from moving my things out of my parents' house. My grandpa and uncle helped move everything I wanted. I have my birth certificate, social security card, and every other important document. My parents were silent the whole time. Shortly after I arrived, my dad left with my sister. My mom just hovered silently while we moved. As we were leaving, she broke down crying, telling me she loved me and would miss me. I hugged her goodbye. Even now, I wonder whether she meant it. After a week of saying nothing, she waited until the end. I hope she meant it. But right now, I need to look forward. Maybe one day we'll reconnect. I hope so. Thank you all for the advice and kindness. I don't know if I'll be back, but if something happens and people want an update, maybe I will. For now, I'm moving on.